Hello everyone, friends. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and write a comment. Your support means a lot to us. Today you will hear about the bravery of Bartolomé de las Casas, who defended the indigenous people, and a heartbreaking story of one child's tragedy. Blood and silence, a native child's tears. When Bartolomé de las Casas first stepped onto the lands of the Americas, it looked like paradise to him. Towering mountains, endless forests, clean air, and a land full of life. But he soon realized that beneath this paradise a hell was hiding. One day, he was traveling with Spanish soldiers through villages of the indigenous people. When they entered a small settlement, Las Casas was struck with horror. The sun had just set. The village was silent and empty. Homes were burning. Smoke rose into the sky. Then near one of the houses, a faint sound of crying could be heard. Las Casas moved closer. There he saw a small indigenous boy, no more than 5 years old, clinging to his mother's body. She was lifeless. Blood soaked her dress. The boy's face was not wet with tears, but with blood. In his tiny hand he held a small, burned piece of bread, maybe the last thing he had tried to share with her. One of the soldiers scoffed. They were just savages. But Las Casas stood in silence. His heart wept. He lifted the child. The boy's body was burning with fever and his breath was shallow. He whispered only one word, "Mama," before closing his eyes forever. In that moment, Bartolomé de las Casas changed forever. He made a vow to be the voice and the shield of the indigenous people. This was not a single tragedy. In village after village, he witnessed the same horror. Entire tribes were being erased from the face of the earth. Innocent children, mothers, and elders, all were victims of ruthless cruelty. Those who survived lived in hunger and fear. Bartolomé later wrote, "They were as pure as angels walking the earth, and we Europeans slaughtered them like devils. Their smiling eyes keep me awake at night, especially that small boy. The silent pain in his eyes will never leave me." He brought this story to Europe hoping people would listen, but most turned away. They chose gold and power over justice. Yet Las Casas did not give up. He wrote, he fought. He wept for the voiceless. He never forgot the fear in that child's eyes, the mother's lifeless body, the burning home. That moment became a wound in his soul. Every word he wrote, every plea he spoke, carried the memory of that one lost life. This is not just history. It is a test of humanity's conscience. And if we remain silent, that same sorrow, that same suffering may one day return. Today we're going to talk about a remarkable figure from the 16th century, Bartolomé de las Casas. He was one of the first Europeans to stand up for the rights of indigenous peoples during the colonial era. Bartolomé de las Casas was a Spanish priest and theologian. At first he was part of the colonial system himself. When he arrived in the New World, he tried to gain wealth by using indigenous labor. But very soon, after witnessing the cruelty and injustice inflicted on the native people, his entire view changed. Las Casas saw the horrors with his own eyes. The colonizers enslaved the indigenous population, tortured them, and caused the deaths of millions through starvation, disease, and violence. He began to speak out against this, appealing directly to the Spanish crown. His mission was to protect the native people from slavery and to have their basic human rights recognized. He wrote a powerful book titled A Short Account of the Destruction of the Indies. In this work, he described the brutality of the colonizers in graphic detail. He wrote, "They did not see the Indians as human beings. They slaughtered them like animals. They burned them alive, cut them to pieces, and showed no mercy to women or children." His writings shocked Europe. For many, it was the first time they truly saw the dark side of colonialism. Las Casas influenced the Spanish. King passed new laws aimed at protecting Indigenous people. These laws weren't always enforced, but they marked a major step toward justice. Although the system didn't change overnight, Bartolomé de las Casas became a true advocate for native rights. He saw them not as savages, but as people with rich cultures and deep spiritual lives, fully human, deserving of dignity. He remains one of the earliest and most passionate defenders of Indigenous people in the history of the Americas. His voice still echoes through time, reminding us that standing up for justice is never in vain.